And now joining us for more on the story is Mr. Kevin Barrett, author and Middle East expert out of Madison. Hello, Professor Barrett. Now, Professor Barrett, if stray fire drifts into open areas in the Golan Heights from Syria, does this justify Tel Aviv conducting precision strikes on Syrian tanks as a response?
Well, no, of course not. The Israelis are the masters of disproportionate responses and a lot of other unfortunate things. And I think the bottom line here, though, is we need to keep in mind that Israel is a major player in supporting the war on Syria. It's been supporting ISIS or ISIL from the get-go. And in fact, we recently had a report coming out of the Begin-Sadat Institute, which is one of the most important Israeli think tanks, arguing that it's very important that the West should not destroy ISIS or ISIL because it is a very useful weapon against Syria and against Iran and Hezbollah. So they're openly saying that they want to protect this extreme Takfiri terrorist group. And that's just one example of the way the Israelis have consistently lined up behind this war on Syria. So it's not surprising that the Prime Minister of Israel would visit the ISIL fighters in hospitals where they're being treated in Israel. And it's not surprising that they would use this excuse of supposedly a couple of stray mortar rounds to get directly involved in the Syrian war, once again committing yet another war crime. All of these countries that go into Syria without the permission of the Syrian government are committing the supreme war crime of aggression. And I think Israel is revealing its hand and showing who's really behind this war on Syria.
And ultimately, what's your take on what Israel's trying to really get out of this Syrian conflict?
Well, they're, of course, pursuing the Oded plan for dismembering their neighboring countries. This has been the Israeli long-term strategy since the 1970s when Oded published it. And they've argued that they need to break up surrounding countries and balkanize the region on ethnic and sectarian lines, create chaos and civil war, and make sure that none of the surrounding countries are stable and strong enough to apply pressure on Israel to give the Palestinians justice and to withdraw from the territories that were so blatantly illegally occupied in 1967. Of course, the territories they stole in 1948 are also occupied territories, but the whole world supports the Palestinian position that the Israelis must withdraw from all of the territories they occupied in 1967. Israelis have no interest in doing that, and so they are essentially taking down the whole region. They blew up the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001 to get the Americans into the Middle East, to destroy their enemies and pursue this Oded plan for the destruction and balkanization of the Middle East, and that's why they're the major players behind the destruction of Syria.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin Barrett, for your input once again. Mr. Kevin Barrett, author and Middle